These days. This is good. I can't believe it's Thursday morning already. I don't know about you, Kate,
And
but
it's
this week,
October.
and it's October.
We're,
I'll take a moment to say that 27 years ago, at this moment, I was in a hospital bed giving birth to my beautiful daughter, Zoe Finn.
oh,
Shout
happy
out to Zoe
to
Finn, who
her
will
and
never
you.
see this. Thank you. Very proud of my girl. She's a organic farm manager in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Wow, that is so cool.
She is a hardworking, dedicated agricultural wonder, and I'm really, really proud of
Hmm.
her. So
Hmm.
shout out to Zoe Finn on October 1st.
Hmm.
But yeah, this week is flying by. It's October already. The leaves are starting to fall outside. And you and I were just talking about how in this time that we are, it's either people are wanting structure and wanting to do the things to move them forward
Hmm.
or not. And I have to say, more people that I've spoken with are what you've said. They're really ready to, all right, I got to be serious about this. What are
Hmm.
the steps I'm taking? What is it that I'm doing to move forward? So you and I were talking about the accelerator, the 6-month accelerator that I'm
Hmm.
running with Kathleen Lawson and Rebecca Moore. And I was wondering, is it too much for people to make that commitment,
Hmm.
to do the things, like get your messaging, make your sales pages, make sure that your message is in all of your marketing. And a lot of people, I mean, that's just the first part of it. And then what are the processes to onboard clients, to make sure that you're making a commitment to your revenue? Are you invoicing regularly? Like, how does that go? And then my part of that, of course, is the digital marketing part, right? Creating your nurture sequences, like we'll get that done. But, in thinking about our conversation today and in talking about the sales copy, I think, and you can tell me what your experience is. I'm jumping right into this without even doing your
Hmm.
bio. I said I'd do your bio, and I will. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the struggles that people have in creating their copy and
Hmm.
creating clear messaging that makes it so that people find themselves in there. And so if I'm going to give a digital marketing tip of the week, it will be that, to make sure you know what your messaging is and to not rely on your own self to do the work. Find somebody who can help you
Hmm.
cherry pick.
Yep.
And then once you have those cherries, like dress them up nice so that people really can see themselves in your marketing. I want to make
Yeah,
sure that
I
we're
agree.
looking.
And I think, for those of us who work in marketing too, or professional writing, there's value in having somebody outside yourself to think about your brand and how you're showing up too. I've really come to value, the perspective of my colleagues and, figuring out how I want to show up.
Right, the feedback. Well, let me do your official bio because
Okay.
we're sitting here chatting. You guys know I could talk all day because this is my favorite time of the week, is talking to somebody. Okay. Kate Hollis is a copywriting and personal branding consultant. She's a professional writer with a background in human resources and strategic communications. And now she's copywriting full-time for small businesses, for the small businesses who have big ideas and bold voices, but they're needing some help showing up on the page and converting clients. She does specialize in sales copy, website copy, email sequences, lead magnets, and landing pages. Hallelujah. She's a firm believer that it's possible and powerful to sell your services, be in service to others. She writes with empathy and deep understanding of people so that her clients connect with their right people, and so they're able to do their best work. Honestly, like, what a beautiful bio. There, right there is an example of
Thank you.
Kate's working. So Kate told me that her superpower is storytelling. And so I'd love to start there.
Yeah. So my professional background is quite varied. And I actually started off as a historian. And so I am just really drawn to, the roles that individuals play in changing the world. And, whether it's, in, like a biography or historical text, or, some kind of, oral history, or marketing copy. Like there's so much opportunity to learn and connect people. And, I'm a big fan of the Clifton Strengths program. You might be familiar with.
I'm not. Tell me.
Yeah, it's the Strengths Finder program. It's
Okay.
one of many, kind of personality tests that help you channel what you uniquely bring to your life and your work. And my top strength is individualization. So I love to see what's special about people, and to give them the space to share who they are. And if that's something that they struggle with, it's something that I can very easily draw out.
I think a lot of people need that. We all get caught up. Okay, when I say we all, I mean me. We all get caught up in what we're supposed to be, right? And we're pushing
Yeah.
content, pushing conversations, but to have somebody with that insight to say, yeah, but here's what I see and here's how I see it. And then to be able to put it into words.
Yeah. And when it comes to sales pages and sales copy, I think there are a lot of stereotypes and perceptions about how it should be and what works. And there's certainly value in a lot of those points, but I don't think anybody should feel restricted by them if it doesn't feel right. People can tell when you're using a formula.
Yes.
And, that's like, the kind of business owners that I love to work with and that I know you love to work with, they have such spirit and soul, and, you're not going to do them justice if you're just kind of following the checklist. You need to see who they are and help them be themselves, because there's somebody out there who needs them.
So so when you work with clients on creating content that has readability, right? Or let's start there. So what are some of the tips and tricks for readability?
Yeah, so I have a pretty lengthy onboarding questionnaire for my new clients.
Okay.
And not only, do we talk about like the details of the offer, but about their values and their voice. So, when it comes to readability, I tell people not to be afraid to be conversational. There's sometimes this pressure that we feel that, to be authoritative, you need to like come across as very serious.
Okay.
And, if that's not who you are, it's not gonna sound like you, and it's not going to reflect your skills or help you find the right client. So for readability, I say don't shy away from contractions, colloquialisms, pop culture references. You're a human, your clients are human. It's okay to write like you talk.
I'm typing while you're talking, and you caught me there on the colloquialisms. Like, wait, how do you spell that? I'm posting in the Facebook Live while you're talking.
Okay,
okay, got it.
I was like, I think I can spell it.
Grammarly caught me. But that's true, right? Like I remember that, and I catch myself doing that too, because I was a scientist and because I am a rules follower. I always shied away from that. And what I've noticed is in, let's say, my emails that I send, weekly emails, people will respond to the ones where it's just me saying, oy vey, or, right? Or, goals, right? Like people do respond to that versus you have to do this, then you have to do that.
Yeah. If
Right?
somebody's in a position where they need to buy a product or a service, like you're meeting them in a moment of need, which depending on what it is a pretty vulnerable thing to recognize that you need somebody else's help. And so
Mm.
if you can be, down to earth, it's that much easier for the person to reach out to you.
I'm going to let that sit there for a second. That is such, I've never heard it put that way. And I read this stuff a lot. That when they're, I think it's worth like saying again, right? When people are looking for something, and right now, right, people are looking for ways to settle in, feel
Mhm.
comfortable what they're doing, grow their businesses in a way that they've never had to do it before,
Yeah.
that they're vulnerable. So if you
Yeah.
show them your humanity, your own vulnerability,
Yep.
it draws them in.
Mhm. And it empowers you to work in a really meaningful way too.
So I would imagine too then that, I mean, I know one of the points we're going to talk about is personal branding, and you help people with that. Is that part of the personal branding work?
Yeah, figuring out, your voice, what you stand for and what makes you different, and how to, without without focusing too much on others who are in your space, to recognize that what you uniquely bring,
Mm.
and how we can celebrate and share that.
How do you help your client? I know you mentioned you have an onboarding process, and I would imagine there's a lot of give and take. What would be the key things that people should think about now? Let's say that they're formulaic like I used to be,
Mhm.
and they're just like, oh, and let me share something else that I hear from, okay, probably 95% of the people I start conversations with is I don't want to show up, social, email, whatever. I hesitate to post. I hesitate to send emails because I don't want to seem pushy or selly.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
How do you handle that with your clients?
Yeah, I mean, and something that I like to talk about, usually during a consult call, is, what are the stereotypes and beliefs that we hold about sales? For a long time, I remember I was like, oh, like I could never work in sales, and I remember in our first conversation, Susan, we talked about, for a lot of people, there's like the ick factor, right?
Right, right.
Like there's something disingenuine or, like pushy, like you mentioned. And, like I think there's value in recognizing that it's common for people to default to that place when they feel like they're being sold to.
Mm.
But how are your own experiences being sold to impacting the way that you're trying to sell? Like what are the sales experiences that have been the most positive for you? What voices out there do you love? Like when have you read something or, watched a Facebook Live and been like, take my money, like that is what I need.
I just thought of it when because we were talking about the Accelerator and how, like, I thought the pricing was really good compared to some of the programs I've signed up for, and that it's 3 coaches and stuff. And I think I mentioned that when I signed up for the Bold Heart program, shout out to my Bold Heart people in the Rise Above Noise group. It was a free presentation that I went to, and the presenter was Kiva Schuler. Shout out to Kiva, who is in my head all the time. And what she did was she was vulnerable. She is completely vulnerable and talked about her challenges, talked about the program because the program was set up well, and made us see that, okay, these are the steps. And we take you through these steps. And all you have to do is follow the recipe, right? Similar to what Kathleen and Rebecca and I are doing in this Accelerator program. It's only 6 months. And I went to this free thing and I listened to Kiva, and I felt like our heart, like everyone in the room was just like, take me. I felt like she was going to swaddle me like a baby and
Yeah.
help me grow. Now, and it was, right? It was step by step. I met amazing people because every amazing person you meet brings you to the next level.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of going off and off on Bold Heart. I'm like, now everybody's going to sign up for Bold Heart. But
I need to look it up. I'm not familiar with it.
I don't think Kiva is with them anymore, but I would highly recommend Piecemeal to Profit because this is what the 3 of us are doing. You have 3 empaths, who have worked with clients and bringing all the things together. But coming back to your point of people being vulnerable and needing to know that they're going to be cared for, and that you would give them any amount of money to do that. The money I spent on Bold Heart, I had never spent before. I don't even get haircuts regularly. Like that was, so
Yeah.
how do you do that? Like, is that, I don't know if you can always do that in copy, but maybe in personal branding, and then it translates to copy.
I mean, you talk about empathy. Like I tell my clients that we're selling to a feeling, like, yes, there's a need, like I need a website, I need systems guidance, I need business processes. But like, what's the actual reason behind it? It's like, are they feeling overwhelmed? We're going into another winter with, the state of the world in flux. How are people feeling? And like, what can you bring to help them, feel the way they want to feel? So, like, yes, you want to support them in driving their business, but you also want to make them feel calm and empowered. So it's like, they're running parallel to each other, and, or, even they're so deeply intertwined that, you're writing in a way you of course want to be clear about your offers, but you want to make sure that you're connecting with the feeling that will inspire the person to buy.
So do you have some pet words that you love? Do you have favorite words that you use?
I mean, I'm such a nerd, but I love using punctuation in kind of creative ways. I'm a heavy user of the M dash. But favorite words, I mean,
Wait, I don't even know what an M dash is. Hold on.
It's just a dash.
Just a dash. Okay.
Yeah. There are N dashes and M dashes. N dashes are just shorter, usually for compound adjectives. M dashes are longer and kind of set apart clauses.
Love it. I often use, in fact, when I post this on YouTube and on my blog, I will say the title of our talk, and then I'll do 2 colons and then your name. So the 2 colons is almost like a bar of some sort. Tell me what other punctuation
has personality, but that's a whole nother conversation we can talk about.
I love that. All right. So how about words?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not crazy about the word authentic. I value authenticity. I encourage people to be authentic, but I think it's so prominently used. Integrity is something that I like to use instead. And, value. And yeah, I mean, it varies so much person to person. And, I'm such an avid reader. I just love words that it's a really challenging question.
What are the words you use for yours? I know I should really tell people their questions ahead of time. But I don't know until we're in conversation. What are the favorite words that you use for what you do in your own copy?
I mean, again, I keep thinking back to like punctuation and capitalization and things like that. And more, tone. Like I like using humor and playfulness. So, I might, write, UGH, or like something that I would say out loud. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say you're stumping me with the question.
I'm going to pull some
words are my business, but
I'm going to tell people what the words are on your homepage.
Okay.
So beautiful picture of Kate writing with an iguana on her shirt with commas. What does that mean?
It's a comma chameleon.
I love that.
I told you I'm a nerd.
Take the world by storm with smart, snappy copy that's undeniably you, empowering female solopreneurs and career professionals with personal brand messaging that captivates and converts. So I got snappy, captivates, and converts from looking at that right away. So good for you.
And, those are words that I use to describe me. And so, even though I'm having a hard time answering the question, I think it's more so that I don't like to kind of have ideas in my head when I'm going into a new client relationship, because, you
Yeah.
know, smart, snappy might not make sense for you.
Right.
So, you know, it's our conversation that inspires me. So, you know, and my favorite words can change time to time, but it's really just kind of, you know, I think there's something also like intuitive about it too. Just kind of just getting a sense of who someone is.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's really interesting. Kate, I could talk to you all day. And
Likewise. You're my
right, like we're going to have to like
guy.
take this offline and talk some more because I'd love to figure out some other things with you. But I know you're busy today, and there's a lot going on today on the 1st of October. Happy birthday, Zoe. Where can people find out more about you?
So my website is katehollis.co. I am on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at Kate Hollis Comms, COMMS. And I'm launching a new offer either later today or tomorrow that I'm really excited about. It's socially conscious in nature, and I'm still kind of fleshing out the details, so I won't talk too much, but I hope.
Oh, now, oh, I love a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So good. Tune in.
I want to make sure that I've, you know, it's very close to my heart. And so I want to make sure that I'm giving it the full thought and attention. So I'll give you a little teaser that it's coming. You know, it's related to, you know, social justice issues and making the world better. And, you know, I'm really excited to debut it, and you know, you can find it on my social media channels, certainly by tomorrow.
Okay, so everybody follow Kate Hollis on all of her social media, Kate Hollis .co.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, I want to see something here. I think you had said, yep, contact you for any sales copy needs. Kate, thank you so much for spending the morning with me. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me. It's always so wonderful to talk with you.
Hey, good luck with your move.
Oh, thank you. It's the worst. I mean, I'm excited, but it's the worst.
It's transitioning is hard in the
Yeah,
best of times.
especially with the little one. My
Yeah.
son's kind of all out of sorts, but it'll be good for all of us.
Honoring all the mothers. I'm going to tell a quickly a story. I was on a call with Constant Contact the other day. One of my clients was having a hard time, and like weird things were happening. I couldn't figure it out. And I got on a call with a woman, and you know, you kind of forget that everybody's working from their home these days. I'm just calling Constant Contact. And so she's
Mm-hmm.
starting to help me, and a child comes in and is screaming and is like clearly like throwing himself on her lap crying. And you can imagine how uncomfortable she must have felt. Like, I don't care. I have 4 kids. You know, I get it.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
But she was devastated. And all I could say was, Mama, I honor you. Like, look at what you have to deal with, and I honor you. Right.
Yep.
So she's like, okay, let me just go put him with his, you know, like, it was just so hard. So honoring all the mamas doing all the things.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck, Kate. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.